The Twin Students of the Sun by White Eyes. Chapter 8. Stupid Dreams. Sunset Shimmer got up and stretched, blinking in the morning sunshine, smiling at the birds singing in the tree outside her window. She went downstairs. Ugh. Morning, Mom. Morning, Dad. Her mother, Orange Cream, looked over from the oven where she was preparing breakfast. She was a very good cook, as her cream cake creamer clearly showed. Oh, good morning, dear. Any big plans for today? Nah, Celestia doesn't have any master plans for me today. Sunset noted, taking a seat and waiting for her mom's fairy berry waffles. Every Thursday was waffle day. Best day of the week.
So, does it mean you're free this evening?
Scarlet Shimmer asked, looking over his newspaper.
That'll be nice, especially when you spend a lot of time working as Princess Student.
Yeah, well, she does dictate a lot of responsibility for smaller things to me, but that's because she trusts me. Plus, who else is going to do it? It's not like she has another student laying around. Sunset pointing out, breaking into a smile as he got her customary stack of 3 waffles. Don't judge her because they're that good. Celestia herself had asked for that recipe.
Well, it's just that you've been very busy lately. If you're free this afternoon, I figured maybe we could do something together as a family. See if we could get tickets for a show or something.
Her dad elaborated, taking a moment to turn to the entertainment section.
Unless you already made plans with your friends. I know how popular you are.
Swallowing a mouthful of waffle, Sunset shook her head. Nah, most of my friends aren't free on weekdays. I'd love to go to a show with you guys. Finishing up her breakfast over a small talk, she said her goodbyes and teleported to the palace to start another great day. Her name is Sunset Shimmer, and her life is perfect. Twilight Sparkle, Grand High Maze, graduate of Celestia, mighty mistress of marvelous magics. What can she say? She loved alliteration for her titles. Was busy reading a tome of ancient lost knowledge. Well, lost until she had been able to discover the long-lost library of the Crystal Empire. That had been fun. She even run into Daring Do for that adventure. They exchanged autographs. Apparently, the archaeologist was a mutually appreciated fan. At present, the princess had no need for Twilight's advice or services, and none of the tomes seemed critically important, though a lot of them were culturally significant. She pondered maybe checking up on her good friends, the ones who had helped her the first time she saved the world. She ran through her list in her head. Sunset Shimmer, fellow graduate, would be very busy. It was a school holiday, meaning she would be working with a lot less fortunate children with her outreach communities there. Twilight still felt like it was a bit of a waste of talent, but she couldn't fault Sunset Shimmer's heart. Wanting to help the less fortunate children lead a better life was an admirable ambition, even though Twilight felt it was a little personal on Shimmer's part when it came to her motivations. One could not deny the meaningful, positive impact she was having on those kids' lives. Plus, her fellow unicorn had really had her fill of adventure after the third time they saved the world, and deserved a chance to relax. Rainbow Dash would be busy as district coordinator for the Weather Bureau. After the whole Nightmare Moon incident, her career really took off. Twilight sometimes wondered if her fame had tried things for the Pegasus, but there was no denying Rainbow would do her job. Still, it was a very busy time for coming complex weather systems, so Rainbow was definitely unavailable. Masquerade was headlining a new show on Bridalway. She would probably be free after a show, and Twilight could even attend. Still, it would probably be a whole weekend trip, not just popping by for an afternoon. Applejack was nice and all, but there was only so much time one could spend listening to her talk about apples with that accent of hers. Still, she was in Ponyville, so she could make it a double visit and swing by to see Sweetie Drops. See how the planning is going for her big wedding. Twilight would have to remember to double-check her calendar, make sure the date was clear. Having made up her mind, she called out, Spike! I'm taking the afternoon off to go see my friends at Ponyville. Will you be okay on your own for a while? No problem, Spike replied. I'll just spend the time studying and doing chores, like always. Flashing her one last smile at her student, Twilight teleported at the distance from Canterlot to Ponyville. For some pony of her talents, it wasn't that great of a challenge. Her name is Twilight Sparkle, and her life is one of adventure and discovery. Applejack wiped some sweat off her brow as she beamed with pride at all the baskets of apples she managed to buck. Another rewarding hard day's work.
Hey, Applejack!
Her father called from the house.
Come on in, it's time for supper. Don't you keep your mom waiting.
Coming, pal! Applejack called back. She headed to wash up before supper. Her name is Applejack, and her life is simple and fulfilling. Masquerade Pantomime smiled a huge smile as he bowed again, and again to the roaring applause of the crowd in the Canterlot Royal Opera. It was her third week performing there alongside her lifetime idol, the great Ponyati. Even Princess Celestia, in attendance this night, was giving a standing ovation. Tears leaked from her emerald eyes, a feature many a bold stallion claimed her was her most beautiful. At that moment, she felt on top of the world. Her name is Masquerade Pantomime, and her life is one where dreams come true. Rainbow Dash! Captain of the Wonderbolts flew in formation with the others for the show. Down below, the fans cheered, waving rainbow-colored flags, wearing rainbow wigs, various other things to show how much they loved her. Banners declared her the greatest Wonderbolt of all time. Frowning concentration, Dash decided to show off a little and break formation, now flying literal circles around her teammates, while going backwards. The crowds were eating it up, and even the Wonderbolts were taking in a good cheer. They know she's the best, and they don't mind. Her name is Rainbow Miriam Dash, and her life is lame! Rainbow says, abandoning Shell is standing on a nearby cloud. Really? That's the best you could do? You might as well come on out. Everything stopped. Everything. Suspended in a moment. A shivering cloud of blue energy appeared, before solidifying into a miniature copy of Nightmare Moon. Though she was a slightly smaller than Dash, she didn't seem worried at all. So, how did you figure it out? Because you suck at this, Dash explained, smirking at the outraged look the mini Nightmare saw. First of all, I'm guessing you just got my general dream. That I wanted to be a Wonderbolt and had to build from there. Seeing the seething look she received, Rainbow broke out into an even bigger grin. I knew it. That's why you totally got everything wrong. You thought I was just some sort of glory-seeking attention hound, and that's why I want to be a member of Equestria's #1 aerial sports team. Wow, you are dumb! Oh, why don't you enlighten me then? Minnie Moon declared. Sorry. What did I get wrong in that oh-so-shallow dream of yours? Everything, Dash noted, adopting a serious look. I can see why you'd think that way. You're some spell thingy made by a mare who was so jealous she had to get rid of the sun so every pony would have to pay attention to her. Of course you see a dream like mine in the most selfish light. Heck, I bet the others are having dreams where they're on top of the world, right? All their wants and dreams fulfilled. No hard work. Indeed. If you are unhappy with your dream, perhaps I can make it to your liking. Oh, wow. You really are bad at this, Dash said, shaking her head sadly. I don't want to be a bolt to be declared the best flyer ever or something. I already know how good I am. I don't need my ego constantly fed. I want to do it to inspire a new generation the way I was inspired. I can give you that, Minnie Moon promised, eyes glittering with the promise of pleasure. Yeah, but let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, if I could get it without any hard work, what's the point? The struggle is half the reason to even try something like this. Second of all, do you know how I got my cutie mark? No. Why is that even relevant? Because it's the best and worst thing I ever did. See, I entered a race to help a good friend of mine, and I knocked her off a cloud at the starting line without even realizing it. I was so focused on winning, on proving I was the best, that I forgot why I was racing in the first place. To help a friend. I got so focused on me that I hurt the very pony I was supposed to be helping. She was okay in the end, but let me tell you, it was a real eye-opener. Now every time I look at my cutie mark, I'm reminded of the fact that I used to be a colossal, selfish jerk. I have a lot of my life spending to make up for it and be a better pony. Chibi Moon rolled her eyes. That still doesn't explain what it has to do with anything. I'll tell you what it has to do with anything. It means you don't get anything about me, Dash turned her, quite obviously angry. Because there's one thing you didn't consider. No matter how good you made this dream, it would never be good enough. The ponies are all over Equestria are counting on me and the others to stop Nightmare Moon and save the day. Literally. If you think I'm going to wallow in some selfish, shallow dream while others need my help, you are dead wrong. Rainbow Dash always helps those who need it. And right now, the best way to help a lot of ponies is to kick your flank and wake every pony up so we can slam your boss back to the moon! The mini moon stopped looking pleasant and stopped being meanie. Now standing 20 stories tall, crackling with air as he bellowed, Fool! I may just be a spell construct, but I am still the power of Nightmare Moon! What makes you think you can stand against me? That brings me to my third question. Want to know how I knew this was a dream? Rainbow asked. Seeing the Mega Moon's hesitation, she smiled as she elaborated. See, I used to have nightmares as a kid, so my dad taught me this neat trick. It's called lucid dreaming. You find a flaw in the dream, realizing you are dreaming, and then you have total control of the dream. Seeing her enemy's look of horror, Dash smiled very cheekily. But then again, I guess it would make sense if you never heard it. After all, you're just a magic potato. Bing! And indeed, it was just a normal potato, suspended 20 stories in the air. I hate you so much! The potato stared before it fell flat to the ground. However, it was already starting to, very slowly, pull itself together. You fool! I will not be beaten so easily! There is nothing you can do to stop me! Nothing! Oh, really? Daz asked as he flew upwards, gaining some serious air. Fourth and final question. Want to see what I did to get my cutie mark? Rainbow Dash proceeded to drive at maximum velocity. Then this guy explained. I do. The pastor nodded.
And do you, sweetie drops, take her and turn to be your lawful wedded wife, who have in the hold, in good times and bad, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poor, in peace or giant monster attacks, till death do you part.
Sweet drops his cane, tears of joy. She always cried at weddings, and apparently her home was no exception. I do.
Then by the power invested in me, by the princess herself, I now proclaim you wives. You may now kiss.
Sweetie leaned in for a passing embrace, when some idiot decided to deck her upside the head. Ow! Sweetie exclaimed, snapping awake. Looking around, she saw a rather apologetic looking Rainbow Dash! I was having the most wonderful dream. Yeah, sorry, but we all were, Dash explained. Nightmare Moontrap. You're not the only one it's set. Dash looked over her shoulder at the others. Twilight looking rather glum, scratching in circles in the dirt. Masquerade looked quite down herself, her hoof drifting towards the sound she had instead of eyes a couple of times before she stopped herself. Applejack looked like some pony had run over her dog with a train, and Sunset, if anything, looked worse. Dash sighed. She had been afraid of this. Look, guys, I'm sorry you were happy, but we do not have time for this. The whole world's counting on us. We don't have time to be thinking of ourselves. Right. Princess Celestia and everyone else is counting on us. We don't have time to be selfish, Twilight said, smiling weakly. Yeah, we should get back to saving every pony. Masquerade agreed before glaring. And also kick Nightmare Moon's flight for doing this to us! Agreed, Applejack said with a grim nod. Sounds like any way we could set it up so she's constantly on fire after she's stuck on the moon. After what she did to me, fire would be letting her off too easy, Sunset said, trying to stand up, before collapsing on her haunches, eyes streaming tears. Stupid dreams. Sweet didn't know what her dreams her friends had experienced, but one thing was for sure. This was quite possibly the most evil thing that Alicorn could have done to her friends. Oh my, Rainbow dear. I think every pony could use some hugs and moral support right now. Seeing to Pegasus' concerned look, she smiled. My dream is relatively doable. I think the others have bearable ones. My dream is mostly doable. Masquerade admitted. A couple of details were overly exaggerated, but I could still do it someday. It's not likely, but if I work hard, I can someday have something just as good. Her smile returned as he kissed her this. Same here, Twilight admitted. Sure, details would be different, but the general idea? I'm well on track to be there in just a few years. Straightening herself up, she asked, what about you two? Mine was... I can't do mine. Things were just a bit different. Enough to make it better, but still not something I can control, you know. AJ admitted. Still, other than that, life's just as good as that dream, I suppose. Sunlight, how about you? I had a mom and dad, and they left me, Sunset admitted. She soon found herself in a group hug. 5 ponies embracing her and giving her support as she cried it out. Stupid dreams. Chapter 9. Because friendship is magical. And the prince is out, Sunset stated, looking across the giant chasm at their destination, the ancient castle of Two Sister. You know, at this point I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm not sure if my lack of surprise is a good thing because I'm learning, Or a bad thing, because now I expect everything to go wrong. Yeah, looks like it's been cut, Masquerade confirmed, examining the post on her side, staring into the thick, billowing blood. She notes, but from what I can see, the rest of the bridge is fine. We just need to reattach it to the end, though a few planks look rather worn, so we'll need to be careful. Why is every pony staring at me? Nothing really, dear. We're just surprised you could see through all that fog and all. Well enough to test his condition, Sweetie explained. Fog? Oh, nuts. Hold on a second, Matt said. Then she started squinting one eye, then the other, then both. Then started throwing in hell tilts. Just before somebody decided to check for her cousin, she frowned. Yep, there it is. We have illusory fog. Illusion? Twilight asked, setting her horn glow. Wow, you're right. It's masterfully subtle. How did you know? Twinkle Eye. We see with magic, so illusions have a really hard time affecting us. Let me tell you, it makes working with non-practical effects a pain in the rear sometimes. Mask replied, assuming a more normal stance. Anyway, I found that I could see illusions if I look at them funny. How did you know I dodged Nightmare Moon's first trap? Actually, I never thought about that, Sunset admitted, before panicking slightly. And by that I mean there's a lot going on and failed to notice. Not that you're worth noticing. I mean, I'm just not thinking enough to think of that and get distracted by rhyming receivers. Well, okay, there was that one receiver, but still there was a lot going on. It's not really my fault for noticing. Any further rambling was cut off as RD stuck her hoof into Sunset's mouth. Oh no, no need for drama. None of us noticed, and on account of the nearly dying, it's Sakura. The multi-chromatic Pegasus asserted her. Anyway, the problem with Ashley is that there looks like another trap that the farmer set for us. For all was set up to snatch you up to if we fall in. AJ reasoned, looking at their airborne members with concern. And since you haven't been flying, I'll doubt you like whatever you hit you mid-air. Which is why I'm dismantling this trap right now, Twilight said, her horn glowing even brighter. You don't even have time to deal with any more Nightmare Moon shenanigans. Princess Celestia needs our help. I am not waiting around. Then suddenly her eyes shone with a brilliant darkness. Twilight looked around the swirly, foggy, featureless plane. I triggered the trap? Well, whatever. I could totally break the illusion. Already? But I haven't even told you my mistress's offer. A mini moon that appeared from nowhere next to Twilight purred. Not interested, Twilight said. And from what Rainbow said, all I have to do to beat you is to wake up. Don't be so certain about that, a second mini moon announced from where it reclined. She had suited the fantasies in the dreamland, but lucid dreaming won't work here. A third one flying overhead noted, this isn't a dream after all. She also decided to reinforce this one. A fourth mini moon started, walking out from behind Twilight. So, it really is in your best interest to hear us out. I highly doubt that, Twilight protested. You have nothing to offer me unless it's surrender and freeing Princess Celestia. Now, why would you want a little old sunbat back when we can offer you something better? Power. The third number two replied, three times from above. Enough power to make you greater than Sorcerer the Bearded. Enough to make him look like a fool's party entertainer. And all you have to do is renounce Celestia, who's not even around anymore, and swear allegiance to Nightmare Moon, whose bet already basically rules the entire world. Four summed up rather nicely. Twilight stared down, jaw dropped, for a good long moment. Then she collapsed to the ground, rolling about in a fit of laughter. What's so funny? One demanded, rage smoldering in her eyes. It's just that... Oh my! Rainbow was right! You guys are terrible at this! Probably comes from having to use your boss's point of view. Twilight explained as he finally calmed down from her laughing fit. Standing up, she explained, listen up. I'm only going to say this once. I have too much power already. What the bloody Tartarus makes you think I ever want more of the stuff? What? Tree asked, genuinely confused. There's no such thing as too much power. Ponies always crave more. Not so, on both accounts. Twilight countered, shaking her head. See, here's the thing. I'm dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I probably would have wound up making a massive disaster years ago if Princess Celestia hadn't taken pity on me. When I got my cutie mark, it was during a bout of out-of-control magical outburst. My special talent, you see, is magical catastrophe. I'm a literal walking disaster. Afterwards, Princess Celestia fixed everything. And instead of locking somepony as dangerous as me far, far away, took me on as her student. She taught me discipline and how to control my magic. Without her guidance and care, I'd probably go down in the history book as a horrendous natural disaster, a destroyer of cities, a monster. I owe Princess Celestia everything, and there is nothing you can offer, say, or do that will ever make me betray the Mare I owe my life to! Don't be so about that, Megamoon once said, as his fellow constructors also assumed their giant size. I'm sure at a time under our care, you could see otherwise. I wouldn't be so sure of that. Twilight's voice boomed, providing her own echo reverb. Her eyes blazing pearls of white light, an aurora of violet magic surrounded her. You see, here's the thing! You're not real, so I don't have to hold back. Since you seem to recall what Rainbow did, I'm sure this question will be very familiar. Want to see what I did to earn my cutie mark? And then, everything exploded. Twilight's eyes suddenly started pouring out a dark light. Oh, nuts! I think Twilight got tired of the trap. Des noticed, face swimming at the predicament. Right, I'll try and smack her out of it, Masquerade said, but as he was trying over, Twilight's eyes suddenly flashed a brilliant white as he stood up tall. Well, Twilight, you okay? I feel great. That was very therapeutic. You're right, Rainbow. Those magic constructs really are bad at the whole temptation thing. Oh, look! Illusion's gone. Twilight then proceeded to levitate the bridge back into place. Sunset, I believe you have a rope fusing spell? Right on it. Sunset replied, placing the ropes back together. And if you look down, there's a little cave of a tree. Also, Dark is a basic reinforcement, so it doesn't break while we cross. Man, that net really did recharge the old Mana Reserve. Well, by my estimates, it was a 2-hour deep sleep, so of course it restored a good bit, Twilight responded. Though I will admit I wound up using a good chunk dismantling her trap. So, what did the idiot offer you? Das asked, honestly curious about how that spell failed this time. It offered me power in exchange for betraying Celestia, Twilight said matter-of-factly. The bracelet's good, and we can cross now every point. Sunset, why are you laughing so hard? I'm sorry, but you, the faithful student, betrayed Celestia. Instead of asking for something more viable, like eating your own head, and why do you betray her? For power? You, one of the 2 most powerful unicorns on the planet? Yes, I already pointed out how stupid that offer was before I opened a can of magical lip flank, Twilight explained, rolling her eyes. Let's just go, girls. We have an evil alicorn to stop. Are you sure that these rocks are the elements of harmony? Elephants of harmony? Des asked, placing the last of the 5 giant stones on the ground. Because if I almost got a hernia for nothing, I'm going to be pissed! Elements, not elephants, and yes, I'm sure. They have magic I can detect in them, even if it's dormant. And they're powerful enough that Sparkle and I can't affect them with even a levitation spell, Sunset explained, examining the white granite orbs closely. The book said that we need to activate them in order for the 6th element to appear, so now all we have to do is work out how. Twilight, you're not that good at artifice, no offense, so you can help the others guard the area while I figure it out. Of course, Twilight said. Come on, girls. Let's set this up so we can plan and keep an eye out for any trouble. Walking out toward the doorway, causing some alarm wards out for the forest, she was surprised when Applejack walked up to her. Applejack, what's the matter? You look upset. Well, it's just, how is that not offensive? Didn't she just call you dumb? AJ asked, trying to understand why Twilight was so unfazed. Twilight shook her head, seeing how the misunderstanding could occur. Oh no, not at all. I have almost no training yet in artifice. Well, the study, use, and making of enchanted items. I've been focusing mostly on raw spellcasting in my studies, and she has several extra years of studying on me before you even factor in her independent study before she became one of Celestia's pupils. It's let me really close the gap on spellcasting compared to Shimmer, but when it comes to stuff like this, she's the expert. If you say so, AZ concluded. Wait, wait a minute. You're saying when it comes to casting spells, you are almost as good as her? Yes, Twilight admitted, blushing a little. Like I said, I was very focused. The price I paid was that Sunset's more skilled than me in the other areas of magic than just casting spells. I'm sort of a one-trick pony, even if that one trick has a lot of uses. Meanwhile, unaware of the conversation taking place 20 feet away, Sunset was muttering herself out loud as he examined the magical relics after her first attempt to activate them. Doesn't seem to be an electrical charge, so spark wasn't literal. It seems to work on a frequency resonant feedback loop, so they broadcast to each other as received by none of them? That doesn't make any sense. They just build up energy with no way to release it, and I don't see how powerful something is. Anything that generates infinite power 5 times over with no way to use it would destroy itself. So what uses the energy? Of course! Sunset shouted, jumping to her hose with excitement. The sixth element is the one that uses the power the others generate. If I get them to resonate with enough energy, the sixth one is about to appear. Great! Stop talking about it and do it! Rainbow shouted, turning around and glaring at the unicorn in impatience. Hurry up before... She was interrupted, however, when a cloud of dark mist blasted past her, sending her tumbling through the air for a few seconds. He could still see, though, as that same black cloud surrounded Shimmer and the elements in a swirling vortex of darkness before they vanished. Before Nightmare Moon attacks us again! Everybody, I saw a flash of light in that tower over there, Sweetie shouted, pointing at the eastern tower that was still standing. Let's hurry! Sunset needs our help! Sunset looked about wherever she was in a panic, unsure what was going on. Then, she got slammed across the room by a backhoof. Getting back on her hose, she looked up and saw her opponent. Oh, great. You're here in person. Wonderful. Simply bucking wonderful. Could today get any worse? Not for you, little mage. Your defiance is costing you your life! Nightmare Moon bellowed, though thankfully not at the earth-shaking levels from before. We have so decreed it to be thy fate. And what we have so decreed shall be, for we are power supreme! Lightning swirled around her mane as she flashed wickedly sharp teeth. Sunset's response was to lower her head and scrape her front hoof across the floor in challenge. Surely you jest. I do not. If I'm going to die, let it be at least with some honor! And then Sunset charged. Nightmare Moon accepted the challenge, lowering her own head for her countercharge. Jousting was an ancient method of dueling used by unicorns who were unsuited for a duel of a musical art. It was only ever practiced by those with little skill in the magical arts. In the time of Nightmare Moon, no spellcaster would ever be caught engaging in the barbaric sport, and as such, she figured the unicorn would have lacked the magic she needed to put up a decent fight, as evidenced by her perfection of her technique. This Shimmer had clearly enough to defend her honor many times without aid of spell. Too bad for the little foal, she had total advantage in this combat. All of that would have been true if jousting was still as Nightmare Moon remembered. Nobody dueled to the death these days. Such a thing had been illegal for centuries. Instead, thanks to modern safety equipment, jousting was now a sport. One Sunset used to be pretty serious about it in her youth. Serious enough to study the sport's history and know what Nightmare Moon would think of her jousting skills. As such, she could easily imagine the mad alicorn shock when, in a moment of masterful spellcasting, she teleported instantly past Nightmare Moon and, without losing any momentum, reached the elements. But if it's me, Liv, screw on her! Sixth element coming up! Then she started pouring all the magic she could into them. Nightmare Moon stared in horror as the stones glowed brighter, began hovering in the air. No! We won't be defeated again! Suddenly, the glowing stopped, and the stones fell back to the ground. Seeing the unicorn shocked, Nightmare Moon laughed. We were fools to be scared of you, a mere mortal! Taking a great leap into the midst of the elements, the force of her landing sending the upstart unicorn flying. Even wielding magic, the sixth element, thou could not wield the artifacts, and they are proven too strong for any mortal. Wait, the sixth one is magic? Sunset asked, confused. Wait, that doesn't mess with the others. Something's not right here. Ah, yes, the others. Allow us to take care of that! And Nightmare Moon stomped her hose, and the elements of harmony shattered. Oh no, we're too late! A voice cried out. Turning around, Sunset saw all of her friends, having rushed into the room a moment too late. My friends? Sunset asked, turning it over her head. No. Can't be that simple. That's so stupid. Indeed, not one of us has the power to defy us! Wait, that prophecy, how did that end again? Yeah, well, I ain't giving up! That said, assuming a martial raised stance. I've got a black belt in striking thunder, and I'm not afraid to use it. Who's with me? I ain't got any fancy fighting, but I do have good old wrestling and bucking, Daisy replied, irritation on her features. Ah! Why can't the idiots who make prophecies make them easier to remember? It was in rhyme. That's pretty easy to remember. Twilight nodded, her horn glowing. My brother gave me a few lessons of combat training. Admittedly, I wish he had given me more and I paid better attention, but it's the best I've got. Sweet just shook her head. I'm afraid I've never been one for violence, but I'll do what I can to help. What about you, Masquerade? Relax. I've got this, she said, a smile only a bit forced. I've been in hundreds of fake fights. We've already practically won. Won! The many shall become one! That's it! That's it. I figured it out. How to use the elements to beat Nightmare Moon! Sunset declared triumphantly. That's nice, dear, but I think that's a little late for that. So he said, patting Sunset's shoulder. She kind of already destroyed them. No, she hasn't. The elements are right here. They're us! Sunset declared, feeling the euphoria of her epiphany. Nightmare Moon rolled her eyes. It seems thy friend has gone mad in the face of death. Pitiable, but understandable. Oh, you wish. Applejack! Sunset quickly turned around to the farm pony and questioned. When I was hanging on for dear life, you spoke the truth to me, even though I didn't want to hear it. You knew what had to be said, whether I liked it or not. You are the element of honesty! From the pile of rubble, several shards, now turned into bright orange crystal, started to circle around Applejack. What now? I'm not done yet. Sweetie drops! You showed understanding, compassion, and sympathy to a creature most would consider a monster. Your kind words and empathy helped those in need simply because they need it. You are the element of kindness! As green crystal started to encircle the Patosity, she was quite humble. I'm not sure if I'm worthy, but I'll try to be. This is impossible! We destroyed the elements! Wrong! You destroyed a bunch of rocks. What the elements are virtues that can reside in any pony. Like how Twilight Sparkle is probably the most dedicated and devoted being on the planet. The element of loyalty! As red crystals floated around her fellow unicorn, she turned to the Pegasi. Masquerade, when I was at my lowest point, you cheered me up and made me feel like I was living like once more, defeating despair and bringing joy and hope. You are the element of laughter! Oh, great. Now I get typecast for comedies. Mass joked as the blue crystal floated around her. Rainbow Dash, always willing to give up your own holiday so others can enjoy theirs. Willing to give up your dreams because others are counting on you. Always willing to give you what you can for your help your fellow pony. You are the element of generosity! Ah, nuts! I get the lame one! Des complained as purple crystal spun around her. Still, we need the whole set, so glad to help. It does not matter. You still lack magic. I saw it myself earlier. Your own magic is too tainted to ever represent such a thing. Sunset shook her head sadly. And that's where you're wrong. The last element isn't magic. As I know, magic is no virtue. It's a tool, and one that can be abused. Badly. No, the last element is something different. Something that makes you want to be kind to others, inspires ponies to be loyal, be generous, be honest with, and make them joyous with laughter. That special something that brings them all out in some pony. And that makes us all one. The final element. Friendship! A brilliant white light filled the room, and Sunset could feel her friends with her. They were trusting her, as friends do with an important task. Directing the airs that they provided her. I see how you made that mistake, though, thinking the final element was magic. It's an easy mistake to make, because friendship is magical. And then, everything was rainbows.